What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, camATL, and welcome back to another NBA slash MLB high five video with your boy. Drop a like down below because I already know you're gonna love it. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. As always, I am on the Greenlight Optimizer. You get free access to this with any package that you get at greenlightdfs.com. Also, greenlightbets.com for the actual betting advice. My favorite bets of the day to go over there. It is half off. I'm going to go the entire week with it being half off over at greenlightbets.com. So if you want any bet packages, go over to greenlightbets.com. If you want the DFS stuff, you know where to go, greenlightdfs.com. Let's go ahead and get straight into this. As I just said, this is going to be a duo video. I'm going to start with NBA. We're going to talk NBA high five, go through the sites, the Fanduel, Yahoo, whatever, and then we're going to switch over to MLB Greenlight Optimizer and talk about the MLB fave. So if you're here for just MLB, go ahead and drag the little thing down to where you start seeing some MLB advice. Or, if you're here for NBA only, after NBA, go ahead and dip out. But either way, both of them are going to be in this same video, all right? So let's go ahead and get straight into it. Starting off first, you got to go Russell Westbrook anytime Bradley Beal's out. Plain and simple. It's not too hard to understand, especially in a plus matchup against Atlanta. Russell Westbrook has just been an absolute monster lately. He's been the old Westbrook that we're used to seeing. And he's just been ridiculous. He's on a whole nother level for fantasy purposes, and he's a guy that you just can't fade. When Bradley Beal is out, you cannot fade him. Even with Bradley Beal in, a lot of people haven't been able to fade him lately. He's been extreme chalk on like the last 20 straight slates, okay? But at the end of the day, it's for good reason. Westbrook, with no Bradley Beal especially, needs to be locked against Atlanta. He's a fantastic option. Now, my gut tells me to grab some Washington here. With Beal being out in a plus matchup against Atlanta, my gut is telling me I need to grab some Washington. So I've got a good bit of Washington here for this high five. I'm going to go Rui Hachimura. He's under 5K. Another player for Washington that's getting a bump with no Bradley Beal. He's got a plus matchup against Atlanta. It's just a great spot. Not only does this Washington team have this plus matchup against Atlanta, but they're missing one of their best players in Bradley Beal. So it's a great situation for them. So Rui Hachimura is in a fantastic spot. You're getting a guy who's getting a solid bump for under 5K. And then we have Bertans. We have Davis Bertans, who I love a lot, and the Greenlight Optimizer loves as well. As you can see, he's projected over 27 at 3.7. Bertans is a fantastic option as well. Another guy getting a solid bump. He's another guy who's played 35 and 34 minutes the last two games. He's playing a ton of minutes. He didn't show up last game, only getting 13, but at 3.7, we really don't need a ton from him. And his type of minutes with no Bradley Beal, Bertans is a fantastic option. So he's a guy that I'm definitely interested in. Now, because we have some solid value, I'm all over Stephen Curry again on this slate. I mean, you're able to get a couple spend ups on this slate. Stephen Curry is a guy that really, really sticks out to me here, okay? I love Stephen Curry. He has been on a whole nother level as well, okay? Plain and simple, he has. He has been in the perfect lineup that you can make the last four slates straight. Curry has been in the top lineup. Okay, he has been playing fantastic. The matchup against Utah is not amazing, but you have Donovan Mitchell out, you've got Conley out, so the defense is a little bit hindered. And it's just at the end of the day, Curry is fantastic. You have the ability to spend up for a few spots, so Curry's definitely one of those guys that I'm interested in getting exposure to for sure. All right, now, last but not least, there's a guy that I'm really interested in. It's Daquan Jeffries. I don't have his projection too high on the optimizer right now, but I will update that. Daquan Jeffries, he has played. Let's talk about the last three games. 41 minutes, 32 minutes, 37 minutes. All right, you have Kevin Porter out of this lineup. Houston is severely hindered. This is a positive matchup against Portland. Jeffries should be starting as shooting guard. He's only 4-4 with a depleted Houston offense. It's a fantastic spot for Jeffries. I'm hoping that we'll be able to get him low owned. He hasn't been super high owned. This is just a solid spot for him at 4-4 with these guys missing. I'm going to go over the who's missing from Houston right now just to verify. All right, for Houston, we have Sterling Brown out, Kevin Porter out, Christian Wood is questionable, Eric Gordon is out, Avery Bradley is out. Okay, so Houston's missing a lot of guards. Sterling Brown, Kevin Porter, Avery Bradley, Eric Gordon. They're missing a lot of guards. So this is a great spot for DaQuan Jeffries. Expect him to play a ton of minutes. And the best part here is that he had a great game last game getting 38 DraftKings points. The most important part to understand here is Houston is incredibly depleted. He is 4-4, and he has played 41 minutes, 32 minutes, and 37 minutes. He's playing a ton of minutes. This is a guy who's going to flirt with 40 minutes, and he's only 4-4, and his team is depleted. All right, it's a solid matchup against Portland. So I love DaQuan Jeffries. I definitely wanted to mention him. So Westbrook, Hachimura, and Bertans with Beal being out. There's some great value there. I also like Ish Smith as well. You can make a case for NATO, all that. DaQuan Jeffries with all the guys for Houston out, all those guards out that we just spoke about. And Stephen Curry has just been lights out. He's been playing fantastic. You have the value on this slate to pretty much get a couple spend ups that you want. Westbrook's a lock spend up, and then you pretty much just be able to choose your second one. Let me see. The Greenlight Optimizer loves Giannis right above Curry, but at the end of the day, he's 10-8 too. Curry's 10-5. So it is interesting. Maybe Rudy Gobert spend down for that next spot, save a couple grand. You're saving a couple thousand from Curry to Gobert against Golden State, which is a solid matchup. Golden State's been just doing a fantastic job at gang rebounding, so it's kind of hurting centers a little bit. But Gobert is in a solid position here, and he's projected huge on the Greenlight Optimizer, so he is absolutely projected to go off. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's the high five for DraftKings. Let's go over to FanDuel. Take a look at FanDuel real quick. All right, so over here on FanDuel, look at that price. Look at that price on Westbrook. 12-4. Damn. They're making it hard to play him for sure. Let's go ahead and look at our other value guys. We got Davis Bertans at 3.7. Definitely love that. How much is Hachimura? Hachimura is 5.7, so he's a little bit more up there. How much is guys like Ish Smith is 3.9. NATO is 4.8. Let's see what other guys we want to look at. Curry compared to, Curry's a couple thousand less than Westbrook, so that's interesting. What else did I want to take a look here for sure? How much is Jeffries over here? DaQuan Jeffries is 4.6, not bad. I'm going to go ahead and put him in. I just have a gut feeling about Jeffries today. Let's see. How are we looking at centers? Rudy Gobert is only 7.9 over here, so you're getting a value there. Clint Capella at 7.7 seems pretty damn cheap, but I'm going to agree with the Greenlight Optimizer. I'm going to go Rudy Gobert in the core over here on FanDuel. Let's see. I mean, it makes the decision incredibly hard over here. With Westbrook being 12.4 and Curry being 2,000 less. That is crazy. It's going to come down to what type of value we have and how we're feeling about it. If I sort by point per salary, we've got DeAnthony Melton at 3.6, who's going to be a solid position. Let me verify. Let me look at who's missing for Memphis real quick. All right, Memphis is missing Grayson Allen and Sean McDermott. So and Melton will definitely get a little bit of a bump there for that. James Johnson is 4.4, Looney 4K. So honestly, I'm not seeing a bunch of like really standout value outside of Bertans. So with that being said, in the core over here, I'm going to go Curry. All right, I'm going to side Curry just for that couple thousand savings and because I'm not loving the super cheap value. Now, if you're able to find some as the day goes on, so be it. Go up from Curry to Westbrook. Completely understand. But Curry, Jeffries, Bertans, and Rudy Gobert is the core on FanDuel. On Yahoo, let's go ahead and optimize this. You guys know how I like to do it. So Westbrook's 59, Curry's 50. Let's see. Let's just get in some locks real quick. Ish Smith is only 10. That's interesting over here. Clarkson's 25. All right, hold on. Let me see something. Bertans is 10. Let's go ahead and put Bertans in. He's bare min 10. Love him. How much is Hachimura? 19. Not too bad. Jeffries, how much are you? 11. Yes, sir. All right. So as you guys know, these are two of my favorite plays, two of my solid core plays. Let's go ahead and optimize and see what we got. We got Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Thomas, another value play from Houston. DaQuan Jeffries, Najee Marshall, Bertans, Sabonis, Hernan Gomez, and Rudy Gobert is the lineup for Yahoo. Back to FanDuel, we have Curry, Jeffries, Bertans, and Gobert. And then the core on DraftKings is going to be Westbrook, Jeffries, Hachimura, Curry, and Bertans. All right, that is NBA. Let's go ahead and go up here. Go straight here, go to the MLB Optimizer, and let's get some MLB going real quick. Let's scroll down here real quick. All right. So as always, let's start off with some pitchers. All right. Now, let me go ahead and pull up what I got for MLB. Okay. So, first and foremost, I want to talk about how LA is running out. The Angels are running out Jose Suarez. All right. Now, when I talk about a pitcher sucking, Suarez is at like the top of my list of suckness. Okay, like no, that's not a word, but like if we talk about suckness, Jose Suarez is at the top of that list. Okay, he just, especially to righties, he just struggles so bad, gives up a ton of power, all that. So immediately, I was like, all right, what Houston do I want? And that's exactly what I'm feeling right now as well. So we're going to want some Houston bats. Let's talk pitching real quick, though. All right. Alex Wood and Molly are my two favorites. Let me pull up the lineup builder. My bad. Okay. I've got the lineup builder up. It's still got the lineup from last time. Clear that out. All right. So, got the lineup builder out. Let's start with pitching. First off, Alex Wood going against Texas. Lefty going against Texas. Wood has been fantastic. All right. Wood has had a solid K rate. He has been pitching fantastic. I absolutely love this spot for him. He's in a pitcher-friendly ballpark in San Francisco. Alex Wood is a fantastic option. He's definitely one of my favorite pitchers on this slate. He did have a rough outing against Colorado in this last time out, but that was in Coors. Okay, now he's back at home in San Francisco. He should have a good outing here. His first three starts, 21, 30, and 27, and then boom, in Coors, he got rocked, and he ended up with 7. All right, but Alex Wood should have a good outing here against Texas, who strikes out a good bit. Then, Tyler Mahle. I'm not sure if I'm saying this dude's name right. It is what it is. Mahle, whatever. Okay? He's in a fantastic spot as well. His K rate has been looking fantastic. Now he's going against Pittsburgh, who strikes out a good bit. I really love this spot here for him as well. I definitely love this. I think Cincinnati's going to give him some good run support, and he's just a fantastic option as well. So I feel really comfortable with both of these guys. And these are my two pitchers that I'm definitely leaning towards right now. All right? Now, let's switch over to hitters. All right, so there's a couple spots. I talked about playing some Houston righties against Suarez. All right? Now, on the other end of that, I love some Boston lefties against Lopez. All right? Lopez has struggled bad against Boston lefties as well. So you can go Devers or Bregman at third base. It's completely up to you. Devers or Bregman at third base. I'm telling you, Suarez has been so bad that I'm going to side with Bregman, and I'm getting a discount as well. So I'm going to side with Bregman there at third base. He's one of my favorite core plays of the day. Really, really love him. Obviously, we got to get a Coors play. And when I look at the Coors play, one guy that really sticks out to me is going to be Myers. Will Myers is a fantastic option. Him being only 4.2, he has hit righties extremely well. Senzatella, it doesn't strike lefties and righties out, period. And that's a bad thing in Coors. Not only are you going to naturally give up power in Coors, but when you can't strike guys out, I mean, there's just going to be a lot of runs put up. So Senzatella, especially a guy like Will Myers who doesn't strike out a lot anyways. So you can play all the San Diego you can imagine today, whatever guys you want, honestly. I'm not going to pile in a whole bunch of them. Obviously, Tatis and those guys are fantastic options. But for in the core, I'm just going to have one of them. I'm not going to go crazy. But obviously, if you're able to, go ahead and do so. Last but not least, Verdugo. Now, Verdugo is a lefty in the Boston lineup that's not as expensive. With Devers, you're paying 5.2, and he's at third base, where I love Bregman. But I love both those. You can go either way. Now, if you decide to stack Boston, let's say Boston ends up being the stack you want to get exposure to. You think those, that's the way you want to go. You think Lopez is going to get rocked. I completely understand. Baltimore's a hitter-friendly ballpark. It's a great spot for them. If you're stacking Boston, then yes, go Devers over Bregman, okay? If you're not stacking that that way and you decide, okay, I want to go Houston against Suarez because he's got a ton of suckness, then then you need to go Bregman there. All right, plain and simple. But I love Verdugo at only 4-1. He's a fantastic option. We have a lot of low 4K range guys that are fantastic options on this slate. I'm going to mention a couple other ones. Jesse Winker's 4-6, but he's in a fantastic spot. Winker has crushed righties so far this year. He is in a fantastic position. Jared Walsh against Garcia of Houston. Garcia has struggled versus lefties, and Walsh has hit righties very well. So Jared Walsh is a solid option as well at only 4-2. Obviously, guys, my man Gurriel, anytime he faces a lefty, he's in play. And like I said, there's a lot of, I'm going to say it again, suckness with this Angels pitcher, okay? Especially towards righties. Gurriel should absolutely destroy here. He should have a huge game. All right, as we know, in their last game, he went 4 for 4. Like, just absolutely ridiculous. Now, he hits lefties very well. It's a solid position. So if you're stacking Houston, you got to get some Gurriel, especially with his upside potential, his double dong upside. You need that. Also, Altuve at second base. Fantastic against lefties. Another guy that hits lefties very, very well. A value play of the day. Isan Diaz has some good power. He's got the lefty-righty matchup. He's 3-2. Completely understand the optimizer there with liking him. If you're doing a Boston stack, or either way, Marwin leading off for a high total Boston nice offense today, and he's going to be batting from the left side, which is great. I said Boston lefties. Any lefties you can get from Boston is fantastic options. Marwin Gonzalez at only 3-3. Gets you a cheap exposure to that Boston offense as well. Nick Senzel, I can understand that. Jake Cronenworth absolutely mashes fastballs, and he's going against a fastball predominant pitcher in Senzatella, so Cronenworth could absolutely go crazy at 4-4. Let's go. Let me just go to straight and just go through here real quick. Anybody that sticks out. Xander Bogaerts has been having a huge year. Don't sleep on him. I talked about Winker. Hunter Renfroe is completely a GPP play. All right, the Greenlight Optimizer loves him because, like I said, he's got a ton of upside. He's a double dong candidate, okay? But he is a hit or miss player in general. You have to understand what you're getting out of Renfroe. You could easily get 0. But this is baseball. You can get a 0 from Mike Trout, okay? So the upside for Hunter Renfroe is solid if you're stacking. He's only 3K. Optimizer loves him. I get it. Frenchie Cordero, a lefty for Boston at 2K. Another solid value option that the Optimizer loves today. Eric Hosmer's solid, but he's 5K. Brandon Belt, lefty-righty matchup, he's solid. Rojas, I play Rojas versus lefties only. So that's just like what I do, but I mean you can. If you have the money, Mike Trout's is in a fantastic spot here. Manny Machado for San Diego stack, obviously. Trent Grisham at 4-7 if you're stacking San Diego. Obviously, you can't go wrong with Trent Grisham as well. Trey Mancini is in a solid position, hits lefties very well, having a solid season so far against lefties as well. Who else do I want to talk about? Let's see if I can find anybody else. Corey Dickerson, lefty-righty matchup against Weaver. He's got some crazy power too. He's got some upside potential at 4-1. Also, if you're stacking Houston, don't shy away from a guy like Yordan Alvarez. He hits lefties fine. And this pitcher can't get lefties or righties out. So if you're stacking Houston, I mean, paying 5-1 for him lefty-lefty is a risk. But at the end of the day, if you feel very confident in the Houston stack, which I do for GPPs, I think they're amazing, then yeah, Alvarez, you need to get involved in there. Let's see who else we got here that sticks out. Mike Tauchman at only 2.8 might be leading off here. Keep an eye on that. Make sure he's leading off. But if he leads off at 2.8, he's going to be a solid option as well. Let's see. And then we'll switch over to Fanduel in a second. Anybody else? That's about it. Pretty much talked about all the guys that I really, really like on this slate so far in the early look. Let's go ahead and switch over to FanDuel, see what we got. I'm going to have to take off this last lineup. All right, here we go. So, all right, over on FanDuel, first thing I look at is like, okay, which pitcher do I want the most? All right, what's my pitcher I want the most? I'm probably going to lean Alex Wood, okay? You can go any way. I mean, I understand there are some Texas bats that have been hitting. I mean, Solak has been hitting lefties amazing. What's his name in the outfield? Adolis Garcia has been mashing. There's some guys from this Texas offense. Like there's a scenario where I could see Texas having a solid game tonight. Now Alex Wood's probably going to have some solid ownership because this pitching on this slate is not very good, and there's levels to this shit, and Alex Wood is on a certain level compared to the other pitchers on this slate. But I could see a situation where Alex Wood ends up having a rough go against some of this Texas squad because some of these guys have been hitting lefties very well. So if you're playing around and you're making some GPP lineups, you have to have a GPP lineup where you're stacking Texas against him, just in case, because Wood's gonna have solid ownership. So immediately, if you get Adolis Garcia having a big game like he has the last couple games, getting 24 and 28, he's been hitting lefties fantastic. All right, and then you got Solak if he has a big game. You know what I mean? If you get involved in some of these core Texas bats that end up making Alex Wood have a bad night, you're immediately at the top and you're looking great. You know what I mean? Plus, you're not spending a ton of money on these guys. Adolis Garcia is only 3-2. All right? I'm mentioning these guys just for the GPP play. Nick Solak is 4-2. All right, so those are two core guys that I love versus lefties on Texas, but I just wanted to talk about that real quick. But Alex Wood is the core play as of right now for pitching. I mean, on a slate that's horrible pitching, Alex Wood sticks out against a Texas squad that does strike out a good bit. But I can see a scenario where Texas bats show up. All right, that's all I want to say. Now, hitters. Let's see where we really have some issues here. Now, let's go to third base. Devers is 3.6. Bregman is 3.8. Devers is cheaper over here. I'm going to take the cheaper of the two. Like I said, I'm pretty much even on both of them. The optimizer loves Devers, so I'm going to lean Devers. He's cheaper over here compared to DraftKings. Devers is more expensive. All right, so in the outfield, Verdugo is 3.3. Renfroe. Optimizer loves Renfroe at 2.5. Let's just make that clear right now. If he goes for a double dong, remember that the optimizer told you so. Franchy Cordero is 2.2. 3.2, Will Myers. Seems a little cheap for a course play. So I like Will Myers as well. As you guys know, we have him in the DraftKings High Five. Let's go to hitters overall and look at prices here. Xander Bogaerts 3.6 looks good. Obviously, Renfroe in GPP is fine. Vasquez 2.7. Adam Duvall. Let's see. Trent Grisham 3.9. Will Myers is definitely the guy side there. Jordan Alvarez is 4.2. Eric Hosmer's a solid option at 3.6. Trey Mancini, another value. Same thing over on DraftKings. I like Diaz as a value over here as well. Jake Cronenworth is another Coors bat at 3K. Mike Tauchman, he might be leading off once again. He is a value option. And that's about it, man. I'm not seeing anybody really sticking out like, oh my God. Oh, Marwin Gonzalez. He's in, like I talked about on DraftKings at that position, at that second base position. Marwin Gonzalez is a solid option, man. I said lefties for Boston is where you want it. Verdugo, Devers, any of these guys. Cordero, Marwin Gonzalez. I mean, righties are fine too, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't play Xander Bogaerts if you're wanting to stack Boston, but Marwin Gonzalez at 2.5, that's pretty crazy, especially if he leads off. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Corey Dickerson at 2.9 is too cheap. I've talked about him multiple times during this video. And that's about it, man. We've been going for over 20 minutes. Wood, Devers, Myers as the core over on Fanduel. Yuli Gurriel 3.4. Got to mention him. But anyways, to sum it up. All right, let's sum it up. Alex Wood and Molly are my two favorite pitchers. And then I love Houston stack. All right, Houston, one of my favorite stacks. San Diego, one of my favorite stacks. And Boston lefties, one of my favorite stacks. So those three spots, if you're making multiple GPP lineups, make sure you stack each one of those teams. All right, and just in case. And then, like I said, if you really want to get sneaky, if you're making more than that, like the Sharks out here entering $1,000-something a day, they're going to have Texas bats stacking against Wood. They will have that because that is a smart strategy if you're making a ton of lineups just to get ahead of the bunch if that so happens to happen. But yeah, remember, this Angels pitcher in Suarez, if it ends up being Suarez, that's who's projected to be it. I don't know officially. If it ends up being Suarez, a.k.a. Mr. Suckness, you need to play Houston. All right, Houston's going to be fantastic. Boston and San Diego. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Greenlightdfs.com to join the squad for the lines. Greenlightbets.com to join the squad for the bets. Like I said, half off all week. We're going to do half off over there at greenlightbets.com. Thank you guys for joining me as always, man. Y'all have a fantastic day, and I'm out.